Hi everybody, Jody here, coming from the Joy Love Bus, almost. I hope you're having a great day. Today I feel really called to make a video about relationships. Now I'm no expert, nobody is, but I've learned a few things along the way, and I was reading some things online by some people that were going through some issues, and I just thought, hey, I'll tell you what I got figured out. Maybe some of it will help you. So, most of you know, if you know me at all, I've been married 3 times, and there's no shame in that. It was a learning journey. Each time when I went to the altar, I believed it was forever. Each time I believed at that time that I was with the love of my life, and I was, I have total peace about that. Today I'm in an amazing relationship, and it's the most emotionally healthy relationship I've ever had in my life. And I know it is because I did take time to heal, really heal after that 3rd one. Healing from the 3rd one showed me that I had never properly healed from the 2nd one. It was, wow, that was quite a revelation. And even my mom had said something when I entered that 3rd relationship about how similar certain things about that person and that relationship were to the previous one. And I didn't want to hear it. I wasn't there. It's okay. I wasn't then who I was, a year later, 2 years later. We're a work in progress, okay? First of all, we are a work in progress. Our job is to learn. And the more we learn, the richer and more amazing our lives become. So there are no mistakes. There's just learning. But what I've learned is a lot of times we see someone and we fall in love with who they are. And then we get deeper in the relationship and we are so in love with this person that we feel like we can see their soul, And we can see everything they're capable of and everything they could be. And our deepest heart desire is for them to expand and grow into that beautiful being that we know beyond anything, because we can see it so clearly for them. But if they can't see it for themselves, that's not who they are. You have to honestly look at who you're with, or you want to be with, or who if you're with them now, or who you're hoping will come into your life. And you have to see who they are today. Gosh, it was such a profound lesson for me to learn that. I think my 2nd marriage had the biggest impact on my relationship part of my life. I was coming out, I married my first husband when I was very young. I was 18 years old. I had no business marrying anybody. Thank God I married a good guy and had fabulous children. That was the lesson from that one. You don't know who you are or what you want at 18 years old? Dear God. But he loved me and I loved him. What else did I need to know? And we had a really great time for 13 years. But after 13 years, we had grown and changed and become who we were going to be as grown-ups, as a people living in the world. And between, the beginning of that and the end of that, we just were 2 different people. I love him dearly. I love his wife. They're amazing. They're so good for each other, and it's so fun to watch them. And it brings my heart joy that we're both so happy now. And honestly, what got us past all of the and able to see each other as just 2 people who just don't happen to be married anymore. I got remarried and he got remarried, and then I got divorced, and then he got divorced. And the day he got his final paperwork, he called me. He said, Jody, I just don't even know who else I could call right now who would get it. It changed our relationship. we weren't exes anymore. Now we were two people that shared a history, and even when our time together was over, we shared things in our new life the same. And it just got better and better from there. And don't get me wrong, we've got 4 children. We've had our moments, okay? I mean, you know, we're married for 13 years at one time. We can annoy each other really good. Subconsciously, without even realizing it, we know just what buttons to push. But we really work hard to remember that we love each other first as parents of beautiful children. And we have a really healthy relationship. And I'm able to have an amazing relationship with his wife because she sees that I don't want any part of him. I love him as a family member, and I want him to go on and have a beautiful life. If he's happy, then the kids are happy, then I'm happy, right? So there's none of this, oh, you're the ex-wife either, you know, so I can be friends with his wife. And we're family, and I love her, and I love them. So on to the second one. So now I think I'm all grown up. I've been through a divorce. And somebody swooped in. I was weak. I needed to be rescued, and he was a rescuer. And we got married. And I thought, till the day he left, he was the love of my life. It's literally comical now because he had two lives. He had what he showed me, and he had what he showed the rest of the world. Yeah. I saw everything he could be. But it wasn't what he was. And that's the lesson that made me make this video, that I need people to understand. I've healed so much from that. It feels so good. I was in such a bad place when that one broke up. And the next one, we were each other's third. And we both saw what could be. And we thought we could get it. So we were both escaping 2 divorces, the love we couldn't find. And we totally misread what we thought was love for each other. It was just somebody hurting equally bad. It was a heart begging for love, begging to be healed. So we never, ever really saw each other. That's all the third one was. We never saw each other. We never had that I see your soul thing. It wasn't good for either one of us. The only good thing about it was that by the third one, you learn when to cut your losses. You don't drag it out. You don't make it any worse than it needs to be. Done is done. Of course, there was pain. Of course, all 3 of them, there were times when I was someone I wish I wasn't. We all have those moments. You can be a wonderful, beautiful person and have a video made of your entire life. And someone can pick, no matter how good you are, someone can find that little 5 minutes on that 27-hour video and use it to say, look at this person. I have those times. I have those days. I have images in my mind of things that I wish I could erase. But you know what? They're not regrets. They were lessons. Because I dislike them so much that I would never be that person again. Ever. That's beautiful. That's growth. That's progress. That's beautiful. So then there came a time, I get it. I don't do married. I get it. Okay. I'm with that. But then there were some years where I had to get really alone, and I had to learn how to be myself and how to be alone. And you find yourself in places where you're with couples all the time, and you're all confident, everything's good, you know, you got friends, everything going on. But every now and then you find yourself sitting in a circle of couples and you're just realizing how alone you are. Oh man, that hurts. And then you got to heal that. And you got to find out why that hurts. And you got to do the work. The only way to have a real healthy relationship is to heal your own crap. You can't keep stuffing it. You can't keep going, oh, I want to be in love, I need someone. You don't need anyone. You need you. And until you love you, who else is going to love you? And that's a saying that I've heard my whole life, but it took a lot of these hard lessons to learn it. It took time, it took experience. God, I hope you don't have to take till you're 47 to learn that. But it's a beautiful lesson. When you start listening, when you sit still and you shut off the TV and you put the phone in the other room and you sit down and just shut up and get out of your own way, the healing will come. It will come so good. And there's this beautiful thing inside you. And you don't know what it is, but it's so beautiful. And so you start to sit a little longer and a little longer. And then something weird happens. You sit there long enough and you just listen. And you start hearing the voice come up and not in. Because we always talk to ourselves in our heads and we get obsessed over these stupid things. And our head tells us all kinds of stuff. And for me, that always feels like it's coming in. But there's a different voice when I get real still. And in the beginning, you can barely hear it. It's so quiet because you haven't listened to it in such a long time, if ever. And that voice just comes up. And it's like a knowing in your head, like paragraphs just there. And you're like, and the more you listen to it, the louder it gets. And the easier it is to hear it. And the more you understand. And maybe it just shows you a picture and you know the 3 books of information that that picture means. And then you keep growing and you keep going with it and you start to see everything outside of you totally change. And it occurs to you one day when you've listened to it long enough and followed it long enough that it's you. It's you, like the real you that's been hiding in there under all that stuffing your emotions and stuffing your pain and I gotta have a relationship, I gotta find a man, I gotta find a woman, that girl doesn't love me, that boy doesn't love me. No, because you have been hiding and they don't want this. They want this. And as soon as you find this and you connect to this, like a magnet, zoom, they're there. Literally. But then once they come, you got to be really careful. Because you have to stay you. You can't go back to this. You can't go back to the old shell. Once you're in it, when you find that cool person and you're in it, you have to stay here. And you have to keep listening. So I was alone for a few years. I had some good times. Good times. I'm not talking about anything nasty or gross. I'm talking about just going out, being free, having fun, you know, having friends, going places, doing things, hitting the road, driving cross country by myself. I did things. I lived. I didn't sit around waiting for number 4. I have a joke with some of my girlfriends. No, number 4. And one day I was telling my son, I said, sometimes it gets really hard to be alone. And I don't feel like I need someone to make me whole. I'm past that. I've healed all that crap. But it would just be nice to have someone and not be alone forever. I'm getting older. Maybe someday after the kids are gone, it'd be nice to have a guy around, And my son said, Mom, I see it. I see it. He's there. He's waiting for you. And it might be when you have your RV life and you go travel the country. But I see him. He's waiting for you. And you're right. You'll find him when you're supposed to. But you won't be alone. And it was such a cool thing to hear from somebody. I'm very close to my children. And I have a very interesting, unique, special relationship with each one of them. And the kind of relationship I have with my oldest son is we're very open about our personal relationships with other people. And I mean, there's things that I tell him that I wouldn't tell anyone. I don't even talk to my daughters about stuff I tell him. If they might talk to each other, that's fine. I don't need to know. But to hear him say that, like I felt it in my soul, and I knew he was right. I knew that I didn't have to worry, that if I just worried about being Jody, that the right person would find me, and when it was right. So I thought, I'm going to honor this. I'm going to believe this, and I'm going to honor this. That feels good. And I decided to say, God, universe, I want the perfect person for me. And I'm tired of finding them when we're not ready for each other. So I'm asking for you to find that person that you know is really good for me. And I want you to finish cooking him. And I want to be ready for him and the right good for him person. So I want you to finish cooking me too. And I don't want you to bring us together until it's right and it's going to stick. Because I'm tired of having false starts and breakups. And I want someone who is only good for me and I'm only good for them, so we can flourish and just keep getting better and better in ourselves by being together. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever heard? I truly desired that in my heart. I was so tired of thinking this person likes me or I like them and is this going to go anywhere? I just was over it. And I was finally at that point where I was totally fine being alone as long as it took and just working on myself. And when I was there, wherever there was, it could be months, years, I was okay with that. And I said, when I'm done cooking and he's done cooking, then let us meet. When then we can keep cooking together. Isn't that cool? That is how I manifested the most emotionally healthy relationship I've ever been in. He found me online. We were on a common interest group, and I put a post in there, and he happened to be on right in that moment and immediately commented. And I went in and commented back. We went back and forth a few times, and I said, everyone else is probably going to be bored by us commenting in the group on this post. Let's take it to the private message. And it was on. We message and message and message. Now, the funny thing is, at the time, I didn't know his age. I thought he was 6 years younger than me. And that was weird enough because I've always dated older. My second husband was 17 years older than me. I've always gone at least a few years older, never younger. So I'm already like, I don't know. I tried dating a guy who was like a decade younger, 12 years younger. And, It only went like 8 weeks. It just wasn't going to work. And now I'm thinking he's 6 years younger than me, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to work. And so when I had tried online dating, I realized that I'm really into astrology. And so I would want to do their chart right away, and I would do my chart. I'd see if we were compatible, and I'd read books, how to not screw up with a Capricorn, and how to make sure a Pisces falls in love with you, and all this stuff, trying to manipulate it, not let it happen. So I'm asking him, what's your thing? But now I'm doing it because I learned when you're dating online, you really want to look these people up. You really want to do the Google stalking thing. If this person's just online and you have no way before you meet them in person, at least freaking search for mugshots. Okay, I mean, it's just a thing. I've learned, yeah. So I'm like, all right, he's really into astrology too, and I am curious about his chart. I made a new friend online, I did it for friends all the time. So I asked him his birthplace and his time of birth. And he says, oh, such and such, such and such. And he goes, but my year's wrong. And I said, why would I know that? It's on your Facebook. It's your year. He said, oh, no, I was born in 1995. I'm like, no, really, that's funny. Ha ha ha. When were you born? No, really, 95. Why would you not think that? I said, well, maybe because your Facebook profile says, that you're 38 years old. Oh, yeah, I started that way, when I was a kid. Wait, what? When you were a kid? Okay, we'll let that slide. And, I just had to make up some adult years so that it would let me on. Because, they have age restrictions or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you're talking to a kid 5 states away, right? And then I'm like, who cares? You're talking to a kid. Nothing's going to happen. This isn't going to go anywhere. It's not like we're ever going to meet in person. Oh my gosh. Oh, humans. Humans crack me up. So, my children were born in 89, 91, 93, and 97. He's the skip. He's the 95. Which, of course, he thinks is hysterical. Because he never had a problem with the age. He never saw my age. He never saw all the stuff I wouldn't show anybody. When it came up, he didn't care. Because he saw here before I did. It was weird. It was really weird. So, we're talking and stuff. Yeah. His brain. I fell in love with his brain. He has an amazing mind. And it's because he's not human. I tease him all the time. He's not human. He's very different. Very different. And after I fell in love with his brain, I fell in love with his heart. And we went from messaging to phone calls. And I will never forget the first time we Skyped. Literally, it comes on and we see each other for the first time. And both of us went, we felt this energy between our hearts going through the computer that was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. And here's the weird part. This was not a head thing. It wasn't coming from here. It wasn't oh, I'm so in love. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't, ugh. And, can feel good if you're used to it and it's what you've had your whole life. This was so different. It felt light and easy. But it was always in here. Never anywhere else. And it was the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing. So we meet in person. Still online dating. Haven't gotten to know him yet. meet him far from your house in a very public place. So we did. We met in Jacksonville. He gets there first. He's in his car. I think I see him. I park the car, and he gets out, and he looks 12 years old. And right away, the self-talk's going, oh my God, you can't do this. He's a kid. Oh my God, he's a kid. He was 19, okay? He was legal. Let's just be clear about that. But he looked 12. That's how bad my block was to the age thing. My programming was so deep that this was not normal, okay? We had the most amazing 4-day weekend, and when it was time to leave each other, we were both in tears. It was 4 days of heart and soul connection and brain-to-brain connection. I've never had anything like it. And God forbid if something happened now, I would forever be grateful that I had that weekend, just even that weekend, let alone the 3 years we've had since. It has been amazing. Now, here's what I had to learn. I figured out that I had to get over the age thing before anyone else could. If I wasn't comfortable in my own relationship, how could anyone else be comfortable with it? So I had to make a decision. It occurred to me that when I said get him ready and get me ready, I didn't think about the package it would come in. I was thinking about the present I really wanted. And this is how I want it, and this is what I want, and I'm going to trust that when it's supposed to be, it'll happen. I never once said I wanted to look like this, I wanted to be this old, I wanted to be this kind of background, this kind of culture, this kind of life, this kind of plans for their future, none of it. I only said when he's ready for me and perfect for me, not perfect, perfect for me and who I am. And only when I'm ready and perfect for him and who he is, bring us together so we can be perfect for each other and good for growth together. Because I'd been there, with the growing in different directions thing. Never, ever, ever put limitations on it. So I didn't get any. I got somebody 25 years younger than 3 of my children. I am a die-hard city girl born and raised in Chicago for 28 years, and he is from the Appalachian Mountains of Virginia. I am a corporate career for the last 11 years, raising 4 children alone, and he's been running around barefoot in the mountains, shooting guns and growing plants. He sleeps in trees. The universe has a sense of humor. It really does. And you know what? He's the best thing that ever happened to me. And he tells me I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. I trust him, so I believe it. You can't make this shit up. There it is. You can't make this shit up. So the lesson here is you have to trust that somewhere under all the programming and the years from the moment you were born of being flashed with images everywhere you go, every TV show, every commercial, every book you've ever read, every magazine you've ever looked at, every billboard that you've passed that's unconsciously going in there, building on the programming, says that there's always this couple, and he's always a tiny bit older than her, and they are perfect in every single way, and perfect for each other, and perfect in the world, and perfect. And they live in this little life, and eventually they fall in love and get married, and they have a long engagement, and they have a perfect wedding, and they buy a little house, and then they have 2.3 children, and then they have a dog and a cat, and everything is always perfectly clean and neat and tidy in a little box. well, you know what? I don't want that kind of love. I want the kind of love that gets me excited. I want to feel good about myself. Do you know what he has taught me? He has taught me how to look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, and believe it. He has taught me that I love myself. I'm freaking amazing. And he's damn lucky to have me. And I am damn lucky to have him too. And he better believe that. That's what he taught me. Do you think I give a rat's ass anymore about that programming? No. But you know what got me there? Not throwing away the gift because I didn't like the wrapping it came in. It's big. It's big. This is real stuff. I want everyone to be in that kind of relationship. Do you know there were times in my life where I was so hurt and so broken? There were times in every single one of my marriages that I was so hurt and so broken that at some point in that relationship, at least once, I was in a ball on the floor, either in the kitchen or the bathroom, crying like the world had ended and everyone I loved was gone. Like that cry, the ugly cry. This relationship won't do that to me. The kind of relationship that we have, I think all the time about what if he grows and decides, this isn't working for him. I accept that that could happen. Now, that's not to say if he suddenly decided that, I wouldn't be devastated and shocked. Of course I would be. Of course it would hurt very bad. But I have thought about it. And not in that needy, oh my God, if you ever left me way that we do. No. That feels good. Feels really good. We have created a relationship where we will never hold each other back from our personal highest good. And just this past couple weeks, we were tested in that fact. I had some serious stuff. I had a lot of stuff coming all at once. And I was like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. How could you be leaving me at the worst possible time in my life? And he's like, I'll stay. I won't go on my trip. And I said, and I even told him at the time, I said, now you know darn well that you will probably go and it will probably be okay. But just let me believe right now that you're not going to leave. Let me get there. He's like, okay. He knows how I work. And sure enough, 2 weeks before he was supposed to leave, and I knew he had already bought tickets and had plans to do things. The day I called him and said, oh my God, babe, I'm okay. It's going to be all right. You need to go on your trip because that's who we are and that's what we're all about. And we have never been about holding each other back, no matter what the other one is going through. If it's something you have to do, you have to do it. And he laughed and he said, just today, I got an email about the conference that I wanted to add to my trip that I couldn't afford. I'm going to get to go for free. We were in alignment with our highest purpose, which is to truly love each other freely and openly, to be who we are. And the universe honored that. Isn't that the coolest thing? So yeah, he left. And I thought I was going to be devastated. And I have been alone for this week. I've been through some shit this week. And I have had the most amazing personal transformation that I ever dreamed I would have. And now we're both really excited that when we see each other again, And I don't even know what day it is. He takes these trips, and I have a approximate time when he's going to be back, but I just know what he's doing. I know he's doing this, this, and this, and then he's going to come home. So it was supposed to be Thursday, Friday. Maybe it'll be Wednesday. Maybe it'll be Friday. Who knows? I don't know for sure. I just know around when he's going to be back. And we're so excited when we see each other again to tell each other about all the cool things. He's said he's had a lot of personal growth too, with changing his plans as things went and living in the flow. And it's been a really great thing for him. And because when we don't call each other every day, we send each other messages when it's convenient. We learned that too. Because he'd go away for 2 weeks. And in the beginning, it was like, oh, I need to talk to you. I need to hear your voice. I know, me too. I miss you. I miss you. Oh, my God. And then there was a time when it was like, you going on a trip yet? You leaving? You're kind of getting on my nerves. You know, every relationship, you start getting settled in, and you're like, God, if you don't leave, I can't miss you. And he would go, and he'd call me, and I'd be like, babe, I can't talk right now. I'm busy. I'm busy. You're not here. I'm doing my thing. I'm busy. And then later that night, I'd be like, where are you? It's my turn. We've had all that growth, you know, like we go through these things. We let ourselves experience it. And that's why we're cool, why we're who we are, you know. But you got to do that stuff. You got to go here. And you got to be willing to say, look, I want the real deal. I'm tired of playing around. I'm tired of feeling hurt. I'm tired of disappointment. I want the right thing. And then you got to be willing to take it, no matter how it shows up. You got to be willing to take the best gift of your life, no matter what package it comes in. And you'll know. You'll know. Because you'll have to make a choice between your heart and what's your highest good and what your head is telling you. Just listen from the bottom up, not from the out in. And then when you're in it, that how you got there will help you get through the tough parts, because you'll know we're not in this for nothing. Trust, it'll happen. And if you have someone now and you want it to be better, just start going here and be open and honest. And if you're changing different than they are, talk about it. Talk about what's going on. Communicate. It's all good. It's all good. So I have no idea how long this is, because I have a habit of obsessing over time. So I have a tape over my timer. But I'm going to leave you with this. You are amazing. You might not know it yet, but I promise you, you are amazing. And if you do know it, good. Then get out there and share it and help someone else find they're amazing. Thanks for riding the Joy Love Bus. See ya.